what is an investment, and let's check out what are the options available for us.
Yeah, so the investment word is a very interesting thing, because when we meet people, a lot of people think that buying a stock lower and selling it at a higher price is investment. According to us, that is not investment. The word investment by definition basically means buying something and holding it, not thinking of selling it later, just holding it for a long period of time because you believe in the future cash flows of that asset. Say if I buy a house, I don't buy a house because I want to sell it later. I buy the house because I believe the rentals are going to be good, and since the rentals will keep on increasing every year for a long period of time, and if I calculate the present value of all the future cash flows that I'm going to make during that lifetime of the asset, if that present value of all future cash flows is more than the price of the asset, it makes a good investment. That is where Warren Buffett keeps on saying that price is what you pay and value is what you get. So whenever you make an investment, you need to think what is the price that you are paying and what are the future cash flows that you are going to get. Calculate the present value of future cash flows and compare it with the price. And like Warren Buffett says, markets can sometimes be very funny, where the price and value gets disconnected, and that is where an investor comes into picture. So basically, index investing is something for a know-nothing investor. I'll start with the phrase that I said earlier, which is Warren Buffett keeps on saying a know-nothing investor, by periodically investing in an index fund, will be able to beat most of the fund managers or most of the investment professionals in the long run, which basically means that investing in the GDP of the country. Now, if you calculate the GDP of the country is somewhere around $2.5 trillion. Now, what does GDP of a country mean? GDP basically means value of goods and services produced in the borders of the country. I'm slightly tweaking it, and I'm going to assume that it is also value of goods and services consumed in the country. So we all kind of consumed goods and services worth $2.5 trillion last year. But this consumption capacity keeps on increasing, because like Warren Buffett says, no matter what happens, the next generation will always lead a better life. Now when I say better basically means materialistically better. The next generation will be able to buy more houses, more cars, more vacations. If they are going to consume more, it means the GDP of the country will keep on increasing. In fact, if you look at the data of GDP, the GDP keeps on increasing by around 6-7% every year in real terms. It basically means GDP is actually growing by around 13-14%, and out of that, say 6% was inflation, so the real growth is 8%. So actually GDP is increasing by 13-14% every year. So if you are a know-nothing investor, the easiest thing is to bet on the economy and get your 13-14%. Now how do you get that 13-14%? Out of $2.5 trillion, the whole GDP of the country, you would be surprised to know that the market value of the top 50 companies is around $1.5 trillion. So we keep on saying that Sensex and Nifty is a very good reflection of the GDP. And in the long run, the correlation of Sensex and Nifty, the growth in Sensex and Nifty and growth in GDP, the correlation is nearly 1. So if you are a know-nothing investor, just buy a Nifty index fund and hold it for a long period of time, or buy a Sensex index fund and buy it for a long period of time. And like we said, Sensex from 100 in 1979 has gone up to 35,000. We keep on saying this was every Indian citizen's birthright. So to make 350 times, which is 1,000 to 35,000, all you had to do was buy Sensex and hold it for 38-39 years. You didn't have to check anything else. No work, this is pure passive income. You didn't have to do anything at all. So when we say options available for investments, there can be n number of options. I mean, equity is just a small part of investment. Now, whenever we train people, people misunderstand that investment basically means investing in stock market. Not at all. For us, investment can be any asset that has ability to produce future cash flows. Even a Mona Lisa painting. So if I buy a painting and put it on the wall in my house, it's not an investment because it is not going to generate anything for me. But if I decide to take that painting and put it in a museum and people keep on paying for that to basically view the painting in the museum, so I would calculate the amount of money that I would collect as fees and then calculate the present value of all the cash flows that I'm going to make during the lifetime of an asset. And that can also be an investment. So investment can be any asset that can produce something or produce something for you. A farmland that can produce something for you. A house that can produce a rent. Or it can be any listed company or non-listed company which can generate cash flows for you. But Bitcoin per se would never be an investment, because if you buy Bitcoin and hold it for a long period of time and you never decide to sell, do you make anything every year? No. So Warren Buffett keeps on saying Bitcoin is a mirage, because this asset does not generate anything. If it does not generate anything, the value that market is actually putting for Bitcoin is all speculative, because there is no earnings.